Hello YouTube, this is Matt Pullen, and we're about to play a live Blitz game against eyednilb. Um, it'll be a friendly 5-minute game. I've talked to this guy a couple times in King's Crusher Cafe. So I don't know which live Blitz this is. 24, 25. Alright, so I guess I'm black, and he will be making commentary on this game as well on his channel. So, see, I am recording. I'll check my cam studio. Tell him that I am ready. So he plays d4. Let's see, what kind of response do we want? Play e6. Maybe if he plays e4, I'll play, well, not really. I'll play the kangaroo, bishop b4. And if he plays knight c3, then why not bring out the green castle Indian with knight c6? I haven't played that in ages. I still think it's okay, but I made a series of videos on it before, but anyway, not relevant because he played a different move, bishop to d2. So I'll play queen e7, protecting the bishop. Alright, so now I have to take. And so now I want to set my pawns on the dark squares. So d6 and e5. Maybe just knight f6 and stuff first. See, if I play e5, you can bring the knight into d5. So let's get the knight on f6 first. This is kind of a standard Bogo Indian position. Now, we just sort of transpose moves. So e4, I don't want to allow him to push to e5. Maybe I play knight c6 here, but he could play d5. And then it might be hard for me to get my pawn to e5. Oh wait a minute, d5, I could just... No, I think I want to play e5 here, just to make sure that he doesn't get that e4 pawn to e5, because I want to fix the pawns on dark squares because I have a light square bishop. That's the idea behind this opening. So he does, he should have kept the center fluid, but I don't know, I was potentially hitting e4 twice. Maybe I play a5 here to stop him from playing b4, or rather to slow down him from playing b4. So the idea, knight a6, knight c5, if he allows me to do so. He can't play b4 here because I take, and my rook is on the file. So maybe here if I play knight a6, he just plays b4. And then pawn takes, I can't take on b4. So maybe knight d7 to go to c5. Knight d7. Knight d7, he might play knight h4, trying to go to f5. Then I can just play g6. So I want to play knight d7 to put the knight on c5, which is now the best square for the knight. And as long as his rook is hanging on a1, he can't really play b4. So now, knight c5, I'm threatening to fork his rook and his queen on b3. And if he goes to the wrong square, then I might take on e4. So I think he has to play, well, queen d1 or queen c2. He'll probably play queen c2. And then I can play a4, which if he plays sort of locks the b3 square down, because if he ever pushes the b pawn, I can take en passant. So c2 and then a4. If I delay this move, he might play pawn to b3. So I gotta play a4 here. So my next move's probably castles, and then try and get in the f5 break. This bishop is pretty effective where it is actually on c8. Maybe I can put the bishop on d7 just to, you know, overprotect the a4 pawn. So it's very closed position. That move looks very strange. I can play knight b3. I can also take on e4. I don't know what his idea was with that move. Knight b4? That doesn't do anything. Let's just chop here. So if he plays bishop d3, I could just take it, I suppose. But why do that? Why exchange this good knight on c5? So he wants to play knight b4, but I don't know why. Huh. I'll just castle here. c9, c6. I don't know what the knight on b4 is doing for him. Alright, knight to d7. Now, I can play bishop f5. What happens if I chop the knight on d2? Chop the knight on d2, either piece, if I can play knight to b3. So I can win an exchange here by chopping on d2 and then playing knight b3, but my knights are very well placed at the moment. Why would I want to do this? I'll play a different move instead. I'll play f5. So if he takes the knight on e4, I can open the f file. I mean, white's piece, why? I mean, I win material by taking on d2, but why do that in this position? f3. I could take on d2. I could play queen h4. Queen h4, which, if he plays g3, then I knight take. And if pawn takes, then takes. So queen h4 seems like the correct move here. He can't bring a knight to f3 to attack my queen. So if he plays king f1, I mate him on f2. If he plays king d1, that's a good question. King d1. I can always take on d2. Knight f2, maybe. Knight f2 looks pretty strong, actually. I think if he plays king, I think I would play knight f2 and then take his rook on h1. So obviously made a series of, well, I don't know what the knight b4 plan was all about, but moving the f pawn before you have castled. Yeah. Check, and I'll chop on h1. So white's pieces never really got going in this game. So I don't really have much else to say about this. See, I can check. What's that do? I can play queen e1 check. Because his rook is hanging. If he loses king, I just take the rook. So he has to play bishop to d1, and I play knight f2. Knight f2, just threatening to take on d1. Of course, he can play king c2 here. But no, he did not. How do I get rid of that? If I were to get rid of that knight on b4, I'd be pretty happy. See. You know what? I'm up material, so I'll just chop everything down. e4. Just probably the most, just get a passed pawn on e3. It just clears up the bishop to come to f5, but it's the end of a blitz game. So, yeah, I think he opened up the king side in a poor moment, but it happens. Okay. So yeah, that was a live blitz game. Hope somebody gets something out of this, and have a good one.